Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today we're looking at another Python data structure called a dictionary. These are similar to the kind of dictionary you're probably used to, where you've got some words and they're paired up with a definition. In Python, instead of words and definitions, we have keys and values. So keys can be any immutable type, meaning it can't be changed in place. For example, strings are immutable, and a lot of times you'll see those used as keys in a Python dictionary. Lists, on the other hand, are mutable since we're able to alter those in place. But you can use a list as a value in a dictionary. So the main operations you'll do on a dictionary are store a certain value with a certain key, extract a value with a certain key, and kind of a similar idea with extracting an element out of a list. The difference being in the list, we use the index or position of that element to reference it. And with the dictionary, we'll use that key. There are a couple different ways we can create a dictionary. So let's create a new variable, my records. First, what we can do is just use the dict keyword there with some parentheses. And this gives us an empty dictionary. Print that out. My records, run it. And we can see that result right here. You can also optionally pass in some keyword arguments here to set some default values on this dictionary. So for example, let's say like name equals dead, age equals 42. If we run that again, we can see prints it out here. And this is the syntax. This is what you'll see printed out. And most of the time you'll probably opt to just create dictionaries using that syntax. Just depends what your use case is, what you prefer. But we can create that same dictionary with those default values using that squiggly bracket syntax here. So name Ted. See, we've got using the string. So this is a key, and this is the value. Age 42. Print that out. Uh-oh. What do we do? Oops. Okay. It's got to be comma separated. So you've got key, value, separated by commas. So run that. Same as before. We've got that dictionary printed out in the console. Alternatively, if you're just trying to create an empty dictionary, same as when we didn't pass any keyword arguments to the dict method there, you can just empty this out and just empty squiggly brackets, and you'll get that empty dictionary, same as before. Now, after you have, maybe you've got some default values or an empty dictionary, many times you'll have that beginning state, then you'll need to add some entries to that dictionary. We can do that by typing the variable name that we stored the dictionary in, so my records, and using the square brackets. And in those square brackets, we can put a key that we want to set a value for in the dictionary. So for example, sticking with the example we were using, name equals Ted. So we've got our dictionary, square brackets, and a key, and then this is going to be the value. So if we run that and print out the dictionary again, thank you, we don't want to share that. Name, Ted, key, value. You can also use the update method to add an entry or update an existing entry. So my records.update, and let's say name equals Bill. Run that. We can see it updates the value for the key name to Bill. If we didn't have Ted in there to begin with, you can see we still get Bill. So even though the method is called update, you don't need an existing key to set a value. You can put new keys in there too. Now let's take a look at extracting values out of a dictionary. So let's say we've got name, stick with Bill, age 42, occupation, barista. Anybody have favorite local coffee shops? Drop them in the comments. Love a good cappuccino. So love to see what everybody's drinking. Okay, so anyways, let's say we have this dictionary that exists somewhere in our code. We want to get one of these values out of there for some other use. Let's say it's going to be the age, whatever the age is. So we name a variable. We type our my records, because that's what's holding our dictionary. And similar to when we set the value for a key with the square brackets there, we can also get a value out of the dictionary using that syntax. So if we go my records, we got age. That's going to give us the value for the key age inside of my records. So let's print out that variable, run it, and you can see we get 42. Oh. So this is super straightforward to get a value out. It's nice. It matches the syntax of when we were assigning a value. Oh, I'm burpy. It matches the syntax of when we were assigning a value. But if you're not sure if this key exists inside of this dictionary, you might get a key error. For instance, we didn't put employer in there. So when we try to run this, we're going to get a key error. It couldn't find any key for employer. But there is a better way to get the value out. Instead of directly using this square bracket syntax on the dictionary, we can call get. So name of dictionary, my records, dot get. First argument is going to be the key to go get, so age. And second is an optional argument, which is a default value in the case that this key doesn't exist. So that's kind of handy if you're not sure, that key may or may not exist in the dictionary you're referencing. You can provide a default value and not worry about getting that key error. So let's put none in here. This is another Python keyword there. In other languages, you might be familiar with like null or nil. This is the Python version of that, and it's a way of communicating. There's no value there. So we run that, and we get 42 again. And if we throw in that employer, that's not how you spell it. Employer key that we know isn't in the dictionary, and run that, we get none instead of getting that key error. So .get is definitely the way to go to get values out of the dictionary. I like this pattern too of using none as the default value. I mean, do whatever's going to work for your use case, but it's nice because then you can do things like if age, print age, and maybe you're only going to execute some action if you got a value back. So we can see nothing printed out because we didn't have age. So age got set to none. So in this if statement, it evaluated to false. So it did not print out the age. Versus if we throw age back in there as the key and run it, it gets printed out again. Next, let's take a look at deleting a value. At some point in your application, maybe you're hoping to remove some key value pairs out of your dictionary. You can do that by using del keyword, so short for delete, and then naming your dictionary and using that square bracket syntax. So let's delete age out of there and then print my records. And you can see there, we just got name and occupation, and it did delete age. But using that square bracket syntax again, we might run into this problem where the key doesn't exist in there, and we're going to get a key error. So you might do something like this, where if employer in my records, then do that. So you can see the code ran here. If employer is, it's a membership check here, like we talked about in the lists video. The difference here is it's checking if this key is in the keys for my records. So it didn't find it, so it didn't try to perform this delete operation, and we didn't get the key error. But if we change it to age here, so if age is in the keys of my records, then delete that key value pair. Run it, we can see it did delete it. The last thing we'll look at for dictionaries is how to iterate through them. For lists, we were able to write a for loop that looked something like this. For item in my list, then we did some stuff down here. For dictionaries, one way you could iterate through is for k v. Again, you're just naming variables here. So if there are variable names that are more helpful and more descriptive of what the keys and values are in your dictionary, go for it. In my records, then we'll do dot items and parentheses. This is going to iterate through every pair in the dictionary and give us the key and the value. So let's format something to print out here. Like key. We'll put K in there. Value. Put V in there because that'll be our value. Close the string. All right. There you go. So we can see that for loop went through every key value pair in here and threw in key here for the string. So name, age, occupation, and value right here for V. And we saw that come out here. Something that might be useful is instead of labeling key value, do something like that, run it again. And it's just a prettier way to look at your data. No squigglies or commas or anything. So maybe use this to format your data to be user-friendly to read. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. come back for next time. We're going to look at more advanced ways to use functions. So hope you like, subscribe, hit me in the comments. If you have any questions or maybe I messed something up, let me know.